Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Live from Burbank.
Is that what we're naming the worship center now? We're calling it Burbank? Yeah. Guys, we've renamed the worship center since no one's here. Hey, happy Monday morning, everybody. We're here recapping Pastor Mac's sermon from the book of Job. You entitled it From Test to Testimony. I'm looking forward to getting into that. Before the cameras were on, we just finished a rousing discussion about Kabbalah.
Yeah.
Right? Lord only knows how we got into that. Go ahead and Google that one. Just know that that's a false religion, right?
Yeah, I can promise you. Yeah. You don't even have to Google it. I can tell you right now.
Don't even bother.
You don't have to
Googling
research
it, you guys.
that.
But hey, as long as we've got you here on the internet, remember that coming up for midweek this Wednesday night at 6:30, we've got a panel discussion, pastors, lay people.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about different issues that we're facing during the COVID-19 crisis, how to deal with those things biblically. But Pastor, you got to several of those things in the message yesterday. We're filming this on Thursday, so I have to keep reminding myself. Gosh, that message yesterday, Pastor, was wonderful.
Is this for Monday? What day is this?
It's
Are
Blur's
we live?
Day. It's
Are y'all
Blur's Day.
filming? Huh? Okay.
No, this is beautiful. You've just encapsulated the feeling that so many people have,
Yeah,
right? Because
really. Because
we're
I'm
locked.
having it.
We're locked. Everyone's locked in their homes. What day is it? You know, there was that season where the kids weren't even in school, and we're trying to figure things out. It really is a strange time of life.
It's bizarre.
Job, and you keep making excellent tie-ins from Job to the life that we're living now. Job was in a bizarre time of life. You talked about his affliction, and then you tied that back in. I want to get to that. But I actually want to start. I want to start the same place that you started the message, because you brought up the Council of Nicaea. You talked about how church leaders in that time were weird if they hadn't gone through great suffering.
Yeah. It was odd. It was strange. Everybody that followed Christ was persecuted. That was the normal walk with Christ.
So now we're finding ourselves in this place, and COVID-19 isn't persecution, and yet we're in this place where everybody is going through suffering from one way or another.
Yeah.
It would be really weird if you weren't feeling the effects of this.
Yeah. Well, we've come so far away from, that world where that was to now if we get a wrong turn on the directional thing in the car, if that woman gives you a wrong turn, we fall apart. We have to go and get some anxiety pills. Life is just falling apart. We're depressed for the next week. It takes nothing to just crumble your whole life now. Whereas these people, talking about these...
Council of Nicaea.
Yeah, those that went to the Council of Nicaea were locked in prison. Many of them were burned at the stake, like Polycarp, fed to animals, beaten, loss of a limb.
Very difficult times. And so you brought that in with what Job really was going through. And I'd never thought about it this way before, but what he was experiencing was 100% persecution.
He was.
Satan was coming after him for the sole purpose of, well, you're a believer, you're a righteous man, and I'm giving you this
Simply
as punishment.
because he was blameless, upright, feared God, and turned away from evil. This is the only reason.
If you have not heard the message yet, you need to make sure and go back. This camera, you need to make sure and go back and listen to that, because Pastor goes through every single symptom of sickness that Job has, that Satan puts upon him. Man, it makes COVID-19 look like a cakewalk.
A walk in the park.
Yeah, something like that. But Job was going through all of this, and yet, even in the face of this persecution, he still blessed God. In the midst of this test, you said that he had a testimony. I like the way that you put that. I'm rushing through a lot of this because I really wanted to get to the part where you focused in on the relationship between Job and his wife during that time, because you offered us a different perspective, not really a perspective that I'd ever heard. Because for years, hearing any message about Job, it always includes that section where his wife comes in tells him to curse God and die.
Yeah.
And we think, well, surely his wife must just be an agent of Satan. Everyone is turned away from him, but you offered a different perspective.
Yeah, you have to stop and think about, I'm sure she loved Job. I'm sure they were in love. You get a behind-the-scenes picture of just the two of them. This is really kind of an intimate moment with a husband and wife in a major crisis of life. You just stop and think. They've lost everything. They've had all of their children killed in a horrible accident at the same. They have to go to a funeral together, 10 funerals. They had 10 children. And you just stop and think about what she suffered too. The book does not focus on her, but you know the woman suffers. And even that, and I know this because I know my wife, you know, when I hurt, my wife hurts even more for me.
Yes.
And we do the same thing. I've had to go through a number of surgeries with Debbie, and I know she hurt, and my heart just broke for her. So I think this is Job's wife. I think she is so crushed watching Job. Now they think, Job thinks he's going to die.
Sure.
She thinks he's going to die. And she just thinks, curse God and die. The better thing, I can't stand to see you like this. It would be better for you just to die. Now, I say that because 48 hours before my mom died, I sat beside her and I just prayed in my heart, Lord, you know, she'd be so much better off with you. She's loved you all of her life. She's followed you. And it just hurts to see her like this. It could not hurt any worse if you took her on. And I think that's what the woman's thinking about. I've just got a soft spot for Job's wife.
I think that's a beautiful expression. I mean, of course, she had to love the man, and I like how you showed us a different perspective of what was behind what she was saying. And then Job replies to her, and yet that's another thing that you had a different interpretation. He says something akin to, "Don't speak like the foolish women."
Yeah. I think what he's saying to her is this: that's not you. I know you better than that. And you don't believe that. And that's not who you are. And I see that's what he's saying to her. You know, come on. We've never talked like this in our whole married life. We've always honored the Lord. We've always followed the Lord. So, and I said it in the message, I say that because my wife has done that to me.
Yes, me too.
You know? Well, and aren't you glad your wife thinks more of you than you think of yourself at times?
Yeah, well, she would argue that that's probably impossible, but I do really.
No, you don't.
No, she. My wife is everything to me. I can't tell you how few friends I would have if it weren't for the helpful correction that my wife gives me very, very often. But I think that's why I liked what you were saying, because instead of now Job and Job's wife simply being characters in this ancient text, you said before it's the most ancient in the Bible.
Yeah.
You showed us how they're real people, a real husband and a real wife, and how applicable that is to now. So just maybe even a little bit more, just speak to the people now in the midst of this crisis. We're all real people, like Job and Job's wife were real people. How can we continue to be good family members and lift one another up?
Well, you know, Job comes with this godly perspective, and he says, listen, how can we accept good from God and not bad as well? And in the end, I think Job is saying, listen, God's going to care for us. We don't understand it. We're confused. Listen, there are a lot of people out there that are suffering. You know, this has not been so bad for me. I've loved being at home with Deb. We've gotten to where we get in the kitchen and we just have the best time with each other. Cooking, and we go from meal. She looked at me the other day and she said, we just live from meal to meal to meal. So, but there are some people out there that are really hurt. They're hurting. They are alone. They don't have a wife.
Yes.
They don't have a husband. They don't have a mom or dad or son or daughter. And they're alone. They're stuck away and they're hurting. There are couples that are hurting. There are wives that are out there that are trying to figure out, how am I going to teach my kid this math?
That's a big one.
And we make a lot of fun of that. But the truth is, I would be up. I can't do math. We would be up a creek if I had to do 6th grade math right now, we'd be in some trouble. So I do realize, and what do? The thing is this, I don't think there's anything better for a family right now than a family altar. To come together and just spend a little time. This time could be a time where you rebond again with each other, and to do it around the Word of God.
That's the best thing to bond us.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's been a great ministry to my family during this time. Well, thank you for those helpful words, Pastor Mac. I'm going to wrap us up right there. Thank you, guys. If you need if you're looking for more of Pastor Mac, if you're looking for any more resources, it's all there on YouTube. You need to like and subscribe there. We're also everywhere podcasts are. And as always, our services are 9:15 and 10:45 until we change our service times, I guess. It's as always.
Yeah. And it's live from
That's
Valleydale.
right. That's right. We're going live.
It's live from Valleydale.
We're going live starting May 10th. Wow, I feel like I should just drop the mic on that one, but I need it because we're going to go live this
live
Sunday.
from Valleydale. It's Thursday night.
We'll see you guys next week.